Hey yo, it's your boy Caleko. Today on Mining America, I'm going to be talking about dop wax and super glue and which one might be best for you and why sometimes on fire agate I end up using both of them now. More of that right after this. Now, I had this really great fire agate gemstone that I had carved on, and I thought it was just about ready to go. And I noticed a couple of little things in it I didn't quite like. So I redopped the thing, and I went to carve on it a little bit, and I ended up screwing up the stone. I mean, that's what ended up happening. Some of the dop wax, while I was polishing it, got driven into the creases and the crevices of this stone. And I used dental toothpicks and all kinds of stuff to try and scratch the dop wax out of it, and it was just impossible for me to get out of there. So I ended up needing to put a clean I ended up using a brush, a spinning wheel mandrel brush, and I ended up having to use that to get the dop wax out of the stone. But before I did that, I had tried polishing it, and basically I took some of that beautiful blue that was in the stone off of the stone. And that's really rather disappointing. So what I plan on doing in this video is I'm going to tell you the reasons that I'm using dop wax some of the time, and some of the other time I'm using super glue, and the pros and cons of both of those. So I'm going to get more into that right now.
Now, if you're going to use dop wax, then you should get yourself a dop pot. It keeps all of the wax at the proper temperature, and it has a ring around the sides of it to warm the stone up so the stone will actually attach to the wax. I can't stress this enough. If you're going to use dop wax, get a dop pot. Now, here's the stone I'm talking about. It has this really great blue, purple, and green on it. And I really liked the way it looked, yet I sort of wanted to put a better polish on it. Now I wish I just would have left it alone. I redopped the stone and wasn't really paying attention to how close the dopping wax was to the face of the stone. And I started to use DeShine on it, and DeShine is one of my favorite diamond pastes to use on finishing fire agate. The thing about DeShine in one of these bristle wheels, though, is it can get sort of warm if you're not paying attention. It can get downright hot, and I got it hot enough to where it liquefied a little bit of the dop wax and got it in the creases and the crevices of the stone. Now, I still really love DeShine product. I don't blame it on that. I blame it on my inexperience of using it like this and having the dop wax too close. Because I'd never run into a problem like this before, I just went ahead and was using the wheel all over the stone, regardless of where the dop wax was, and just wasn't paying attention to it. And it liquefied a little bit of the dop wax, and it polished the dop wax into the crevices of the stone, into the corners, so thin and so hard attached to the stone that I really couldn't get it off of there even by scratching at it. And I used dental picks, and I just could not get it out of the creases. And the only way I was able to actually get it out of the creases was by repolishing it. Now, that stone is not the stone that's on your screen right now. I wanted to use this stone as a representation of what to do instead of what not to do. So as I'm polishing this stone, what I'm majorly paying attention to is where my bristles are working, and I'm making sure that I'm not polishing a bunch of the dop wax to pick it up and transfer it into the stone. Now, DeShine is still my favorite product to use on fire agate. It absolutely has great qualities to it. It gives a fantastic shine, and the number one thing that I'm really happy with is it's water soluble. So the water solubility, it makes it to where you can rinse it off really easily, which I'll get into more of that later. Now, what you'll notice what I'm doing with this while I'm polishing this piece right here is I'm making sure that the wheel is only attached or is only hitting on the stone itself. And I make sure that I don't run the wheel anywhere on the outside of the stone. Now, the type of paste I have right here with the DeShine is a fine. It's the DeShine fine. It puts an amazing mirror finish on stones. It works really good after a 1200. You could probably even take after a 600 polishing and then take this DeShine fine with a bristle brush and get an amazing mirror finish on stuff. I mean, it just works fantastic. I can't tout how great this stuff is. And the 3 grams that you get of it lasts a really long time. It lasts way longer for me than polishing pastes do that need a liquid thinner of some kind. And when I say polishing paste, I actually mean diamond compound polishing paste. That's what they are. You can get them from different lapidary supply companies, whereas the DeShine product is specifically made for dentistry work. Earlier, I had said that DeShine is water soluble, and that's one of the things I really love about it, is that I can just go ahead and put it in water with an old toothbrush and start scrubbing it, and it'll get all of the DeShine off of it. And in order to get the DeShine on my brushes or on my stones, I just have to put 1 drop of water on the top of the DeShine inside of its container, give it a couple of seconds, and then I can either use my finger or I can use a brush and just go ahead and turn the brush in it and get some DeShine on it. And that works really fantastic. Go ahead and show you what the finished product of that stone looks like. It's got some nice green and gold and orange going on in it. On one side it looks like an insect, and on the other side it looks like a fish head. It's a really cool rock, fire agate. It's going to be in my Etsy store here today. Purchase it if you like. Here's the fire agate I had to fix, and as you can tell now, it's super glued to a nail. I'm sure you know how to use super glue, so I'm not going to go over that part. Yet, the good thing about using super glue is that you can go ahead and attach it there and you're not going to end up getting any wax anywhere on it. So if you have a piece of fire agate that, say, has a hole in it and you dop it and it forces wax up through the center, then you're going to want to use something else besides that when you get to the stage of using your polishes like DeShine on there, or you might end up forcing wax into where the stone is and it can be really hard to get out of there. So the thing about using super glue is that it's not as easy to transfer the stone as fast. If you want to transfer the stone and you're using dop wax, all you have to do is take it on over to the freezer for a couple of minutes, throw it in there, pull it on out, and then you're going to be able to pull that thing right off. Now on the other hand, when you're using super glue in a nail, it's going to take a bit longer, because what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to get a heating element like this torch, heat the nail up, and go ahead and pull the stone off, and that's not even the end of it, because what you're going to end up being left with is a bunch of super glue residue stuck to the bottom of the stone. And you can go ahead and try and scrape that off, but if your stone has any pits or any crevices, then that super glue is really going to be stuck in there and it's going to be difficult to get out, which that's where your acetone comes into play. You're going to need some acetone, and you're going to need some sort of container to soak your stones in so that you can get all of that super glue residue completely off. And for me, that just takes a lot more time than I want to invest into every single time that I want to dop my stone. And that's why I'll be using both dop wax and super glue when I cut my fire agate, depending on what stone I'm using. Now here's what this stone looks like after its final polish and after getting all of the dop wax out of the crevices that were in it. It still looks pretty good, but it's not quite near as bright a blue as it was before. If you'd like to purchase this stone, check out the link in the description below to my Etsy store. I'll have both this stone and my fish head stone, along with this other really bitroidal fire agate that I put a whole bunch of hours into to make it look like this. It's a really great stone, I tell you what.
Well, that's it for this episode of Mining America / Chasing Fire, because I didn't even realize it till I was getting done editing this video that this should be a Chasing Fire video, not so much a Mining America video, but hey, I know you like the opening as much as I do, so I'm just going to leave it the way it is and add it to the Chasing Fire playlist. I love you for watching. Don't forget to check my Etsy store for all kinds of good rocks and gemstones in there for you to purchase to help me out. And once again, I love you for watching, and I'll see you soon.